says, the whole earth belongs to the Lord. The earth is the Lord's. The word Lord means the owner. The whole earth belongs to the Lord. Why? Because He made it. In John chapter 1, what does it say? He made everything that was made, and without Him was not anything made that was made. He made this earth. Why? Because you see, His Father is also a king. God is a king. And He had built His own kingdom. But that kingdom is in the heavenlies, and that kingdom is spiritual. It's not physical, it's a spiritual kingdom. And on the seventh day, God rested from His work, and He simply lifted that kingdom up in that spirit realm so that it could never change. Whenever there is an end, if there's ever an end to the world, that kingdom will be exactly as it was in the beginning. Because God, He said, I'm very special. I'm different from everybody else. He said, when I do something, I start at the end and I work back toward the beginning. Why? To establish what the end will be. There's no guesswork about it. I've read the last page. I know that God's going to win. I know that every knee will bow to Him. I know every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. I've read the last page of the book. Because God started at the end and works back to the beginning. We go the other way. We start at the beginning and then work toward an end, which we hope will be what we want. So, what does it say here? The flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. That's why in our birthing on this earth, we are birthed into trouble. We're birthed into trouble. Because the first person that we birth in our sense of identity, in our sense of reality, is produced by 5 senses. Your reality is produced by 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. That becomes your reality and the reality of the natural man. What you see with your eyes, what you hear with your ears, what you perceive becomes your reality. That's why some people live in a very dark world. They live in a world that's full of trouble and problems and difficulties and everything else. There are some people that live in a world that's got ghosts and demons and evil spirits and who knows what not else, you know. They've got it all. There are other people, like my mother, who lived in a world which was beautiful. She saw God in everything. She loved gardening, and she would walk around that garden and talk to her plants, and she saw God in everything. Why? Because her reality was centered in the spirit of her being. Where is your consciousness focused today? Where is your consciousness focused? If you turn with me to 2 Corinthians chapter 5. I'm sorry, chapter 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. And verse 16. This is what the Apostle Paul says. He said, for which cause we do not faint, that even though our outer man is perishing every day, you have an inner man which is being renewed every day. The outer man, when you look in the mirror, that's what you see. You cannot see the inner man with your natural eyes. So most people don't even know there is another man on the inside. And our focus, our consciousness is centered in what we are that came from our mother's womb, which is the earthly part of our being. And that is our reality. I look in the mirror and say, that's me. No, it's not. Your body is not you. Your true identity is spirit. That spirit came out of God, because that spirit is God. When God said, let us make man, there's the man. But that man did not have a body. He was pure spirit. And that's you. And what did he say about the man that he created? He said, this man must be in the likeness and the image of God. And you are in the likeness and image of God today. You are in the likeness and image of God today. I'm not talking about your appearance here. I'm talking about who you are, which is the spirit that dwells in you. Are you hearing this? The outer man, this body, is perishing. The doctors tell me so many thousands or millions of cells die every day. Some are being renewed, but some are not. So as you get on in years, you know, your hair goes a bit grey and you don't walk quite as fast as you used to. You puff a little bit going up the hills and all that kind of stuff. You see, that's the outer man. And if you live in the outer man, well, all you can look forward to is a little box they'll put you in and they'll bury you in a hole in the ground, and that's the end of that. But if your consciousness is in the inner man, he is being renewed every day. That's where my consciousness is. That's why I can still travel the world at 78 years of age. Well, that's what they tell me I am. And I had to look at my birth certificate to believe it, you know. I said, how can you be that old and still travel, you know, and do what I do? Because there's an inner man in here that's being renewed every day. Every day. Hey, there's a new song for you, brother. Start singing, will you? You got the old man and you got the new man, but the new man is being renewed every day. So here we are today. You see, these two boys, every one of you have birthed, both of them. And the first one to be birthed was the natural man. This is a principle in God. So the Apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 19, don't you know your body is the temple of God? So you say, yes, I know that my body is the temple of God. But wait a minute. This temple of God, if this is the temple of God, oh brother, some of God's temples has got cancer. Some have got diabetes, some have got depression, some have got asthma. These bodies are the temple of... I don't think so.